so let's just dive in. I've been talking to a lot of home service companies, and one of the things we're doing is AI and automation. But what I'm finding is a lot of conversations I'm having is that that stuff doesn't even come until you have enough leads to actually worry about it. So one of the first things we're going to do is just look at where you can get some leads starting off, where you can pay per lead, and then you can decide you want to move into something like Google Ads so you can generate your own leads, or Facebook so you can generate your own leads. Those tend to be more expensive up front because you have management costs, you've got marketing things going on, and you got to manage a budget. But the overall lead cost is lower. So if you just need a few leads to help grow your business, you just started out, they have a sort of derogatory term for that called chucking a truck. So basically it's just you, and you're like a handyman at that point. If that's where you are, that's a great place to start. And you wouldn't want to do Google Ads, or you wouldn't want to do Facebook, because although they do work, it requires follow-up systems. It doesn't require automation, AI. You can certainly do well without that. But those tools can help you close more. So let's just look at some places where you can get some leads to kind of start off. And these are going to be lead companies. They're not going to be like free lead resources. Those things are like join a Facebook group, or be on Nextdoor and be post every day. Those sort of things. So that's how you're going to get free leads. But if you want to be able to get leads from these companies, then let's just look at this right here. So let's start off with Thumbtack, and Thumbtack is the handyman's dream, right? So someone can come in here, they talk about the program, and what you're going to find from all of these different sources, you can see I've got Porch and Angie, and they're all kind of the same thing. They all start off with what project do you want to get done, and then they filter you out to the different contractors that service that. What makes Thumbtack great is that it forces you to use their app, and it forces the other person to use their app, and it really benefits those sort of solopreneurs where it's just you, or maybe you and a buddy starting this company out, and you're just trying to hustle to get some work. And Thumbtack really works well for that because you can buy some leads and start working, and the leads are relatively cheap. Now, they don't always convert great, but you're not typically, you are going to compete with big companies. I'm not gonna lie, but you also are going to have a better advantage, because people in Thumbtack tend to be looking for a deal, and they tend to be looking for people who are willing to do, hang cabinets but not do the whole kitchen, or put a countertop in but not do the cabinets and that kind of thing. Whereas a regular remodeling company may want to do the entire kitchen. So this is the first place I'd go. If I was like today wanting to start my home service business, I'd probably start with Thumbtack, see how many things I can land first to kind of get some fuel to the business. The next place I'd look is probably Porch. Now, Porch is going to be more expensive, and the lead quality isn't that great, but it also gives you that advantage where before you get to Angie, before you get to Modernize, that you're going to have that advantage over like those bigger remodelers, because people in Porch tend to be looking for a deal as well. There's some speculation in the industry that maybe these companies are using words like cheap kitchen or cabinets only, and that's how they're getting these leads. And so in any case, the way that you convert these is the same as anything else. Speed to lead. So as soon as you get the lead, you got to contact them. That's why you have an advantage on Thumbtack. That's why you have an advantage of Porch, more so than Angie, because these leads, you get them and you're kind of like the first. You could be the first one there, and you've got a little leeway, like 5 minutes or so, to be the first one. Whereas on Angie, these are going to big contractors, and so you have to be first, and they're going to be interviewing a ton of people. So there's less competition on these two, and that's where I would start first if I was launching my business. Now, let's say you've got a steady flow. Maybe you've got additional crew or two, maybe even a salesperson. This is when you'd want to consider these two companies, and that's Angie and Modernize. And these are the biggest players in the home service leads business. Their leads are going to cost you from somewhere, well, Modernize is going to cost you somewhere around between about $50 a lead, and Angie's going to cost you $135 to almost $200 a lead. So these leads are cheaper because they're lower quality, and they can give you a ton. So you may get 35 leads in a single week for a few $100s, but you may not close any of them. So just be aware of that. It does give you a lot of at-bats. So if you've got a salesperson and you can keep those people kind of in your funnel, then they'll start to close over time. Whereas Angie, these people tend to be a little bit more ready, and Angie will give you a refund if the lead is not that good. So if you call and the person's like, oh no, I thought you were Home Depot, which people fill these forms out for whatever reason and they end up saying they're from Home Depot, they'll give you a refund for that, but you've got to track that. So once you get to Angie, then it's time to, in my opinion, that you need to be thinking about your database, like a CRM, or automation, or just some way to organize the information. You can get away with just running your phone and closing, going from deal to deal with Thumbtack, and just being on your phone. But once you get to Angie, you're paying $135 to $200 a lead. And you're competing with 4 or 5 or even more contractors. That's when you get the lead, you've got to call it immediately. You've got to set the appointment as soon as possible. You've got to stay on top of them. You've got to follow up with them. In real estate, they have this term, until they buy or die. And that's how you have to approach these leads. So if you want to have success with the home service leads, you've got to have that approach. So this is Angie. You should be familiar with this. Home Advisor is the other side of the same company. And like I said, all of them have the same process. So you fill out what your project is, and then they take you through the funnel to get more and more information out of you, ultimately to share it with to basically sell your information to you, home service person. So same thing for Modernize. You don't hear much about this in our area where I live, but this is a very popular one with some other areas outside of the South, and they do have leads. So and what you want to know is what do you want your specialty? Because after here you can be a handyman, but there you probably need to know what you really want to do. Do you want to do flooring? Do you want to do cabinets? Do you want to do bathroom remodels only? Do you only want to do kitchens, like a full kitchen, or do you want to do these things? And you can just go to these sites and you can kind of see how they're broken up, and you can decide, do I want to do that? Test them out. Like, I don't know why it takes them in this address, but test them out first before you give them any money. Like, go and fill out the forms and see what happens. And you'll see, as soon as you fill out an Angie form, like within seconds, you're going to get phone calls. Some of them are going to be automated. You might get an AI phone call. You might get, and you're going to get calls and texts from people. And some of them are going to be, maybe one company will be like ABC Contracting calls you, and then the same company, but just a different guy with a different company name calls you or texts you. So, these guys are going after these leads hard, and you just need, as a home service person, you just need to know that. So if you're authentic, though, and you talk to them and you get to them first, you can get the appointment. And I think in general, being transparent is going to win more leads than that sort of hardcore aggressive approach. So anyway, these are the 4 lead sources that I would go after if I was starting off. I'll start off with Thumbtack, Porch, and then Angie or Modernize. And like I said, I could put Home Advisor. So if I did Home Advisor, it's also an Angie company as well. So you can go to Home Advisor. You can see it's powered by Angie, so it's the same company. So that would be the 5 that I would look at. And if you have any questions, just post them in the video.